What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial.
And it's your boy Rex Howard Jr.
And this is Let's Talk Like Men, the podcast where we have real conversations about real topics, giving real advice to men like you everywhere. And we're back again with another episode. This is part 3 of our Little Things series.
Yes, sir.
I'm so excited for this, Rex. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm blessed and highly favored, brother. I really can't complain. Things are going good. Things are going moving in the right direction. So I'm excited about it. What about you?
Healing, man.
Yeah.
Healing. Grief is a tough thing, y'all.
Yeah.
And, we get in front of these cameras and we have to come and put our best foot forward to give you guys an enjoyable episode. But I'd be lying if I said that drive-in just wasn't hurting me.
Yeah.
But God has given me the strength each day to continue to turn to him, be obedient to him, and trust him as I go through this process. So at the end of the day, I may be hurting, but I will always say that I'm blessed.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited for today, though.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why we're blessed is because we do have the opportunity with the life that we have to impact people
100%.
and make a difference. And I think this series has been making a hell of a difference.
Man.
Right? The Little Things series, right? So part 1 and part 2. The little things that every man needs in a woman was part 1.
Yeah.
Then we flipped it and said the little things that every woman wants out of her man.
Absolutely.
Right? Giving y'all game from both perspectives. That way, y'all can see whether you're a man, woman, but primarily for the fellas, the things that you want, and we're giving a voice to that.
Yeah.
And also the things that you need to be aware of when dealing with your lady that you need to do for her. So now we're here for part 3.
Yeah.
Because we're at a point now where we've addressed the things that people want.
Yeah.
Now we need to talk about some things that are going to mess it up if you're not carrying out your roles and responsibilities within a relationship. So this is part 3, the little things that cause relationships to fail. This is going to be powerful, Rex.
Man.
So I'm looking forward to it today. And without further ado,
Hey,
let's talk like men.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So let's hop into hot topic, man. There's been some good stuff, some good stuff going on social media, man. A lot of conversations taking place, primarily with Nick Cannon and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And some of their comments, right? They both have, multiple children by different women. Nick Cannon, I think it's over 10. I think he might have 12 kids, and I think it's like 7 or 8 different women. I'm not sure, but I don't want to misspeak. But they do have multiple kids by multiple different women, and they had a counselor that came on to interview them on their individual podcast and was talking to them about that. And both of them had this sentiment, and I'm going to paraphrase this.
Yeah.
Both of them had this sentiment of, I'm not building broken homes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am actively involved in my kids' life. I'm actively taking care of these kids and making sure that they don't struggle for anything. And the counselor was coming with a different perspective, saying, like, even though you're there financially, and even though you are there as much as you can be physically, inevitably you're spreading yourself thin trying to take care of multiple different homes, right? Or as she said, you have a bunch of houses, but you don't have a bunch of homes because you're not in each of them at the same time. And I want to know your thoughts on that, Rex. What makes a broken home what it is? Are they creating broken homes, and is the thing that they're doing irresponsible, even though they have the financial capabilities to take care of them?
Absolutely. And, bro, it takes me back to my childhood, right? When I was about 10, 11, my parents got divorced. And from that point forward, until I was 18 years old, I lived at home with my mom.
Yeah.
So what considers a broken home is when you don't have a healthy structure, right? When mom and dad aren't present, when your caregivers aren't present, when you see one person overcompensating for what the other person isn't doing.
Yeah.
And although my dad is being active on the back end, he's paying child support. Yes, he's taking us on the weekends. But at the same time, because the house was so broken, when we had to go to my dad's house, let's just say, because he was paying so much in child support, he couldn't afford to really get the things that he wanted to have.
Yeah.
So he'll have a studio apartment that all 5 of us have to go to on the weekends. Now it's 5 of us. Him makes it 6. Now we got to function over here for the weekend, and then we got to go back to our moms throughout the week. And you got to operate here in a certain way, then you get to operate at your dad's in a certain way. So it's just like there's no function, there's no main principles, there's no routine.
Yeah.
That's what kids need.
Yes.
Kids need a routine. Kids need to be able to go to bed and be like, okay, I want to kiss my dad goodnight, or I want mommy to read me a bedtime story. I want mommy to tuck me in, or can we pray together as a family? So if I'm a son and I'm being raised, and I know that my dad is paying for me to go to school or paying for me to do sports or give my mom money, but he's not there for me when I need him. He's not there for me when the boogeyman is in my dreams and I need to go talk to my dad, right? Yep. And sometimes if he's too busy, I can't even reach him. That's what you consider a broken home. So watching those episodes, it really got to me because it made me realize One thing that Cam said was, I have 8 kids. I have 3 different baby moms, and I want more
I want
kids.
more. Yeah.
And he was like, I want to be married too,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my thought process was, you have managed to impregnate 3 women
Yeah.
that you didn't find marriage materially in.
Mm.
And then you have the value and the money to pay for more kids, but you can't effectively spend time with each one like you truly want to.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want more kids for? What exactly are you trying to build?
Yep.
So that's one thing that kind of threw me off. What were your thoughts on it?
Man, you hit something, and I remember something that Cam said. He said, "I fear marriage, right, more than I fear pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
More than I fear a child coming into this world." Um, and that's an interesting concept to me because if we're doing things the right way, then marriage should be the first
Yeah.
hurdle that comes before the kids in the first place, right? But so many of us as men are broken. Our trust is broken. Our just self-worth is broken. And so we value enough to procreate to keep our legacy alive,
Yeah.
but we don't value the type of example that that legacy is going to have by
100%.
not seeing mom and dad in that home together.
Yeah.
Because I think about it like this. Think about the football games that are going to come up, the dance recitals, the honor roll ceremonies, the speeches at church. You have 8 different kids by 3 different women. So they're not going to all be together.
Right.
They're going to be at different places doing different things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I remember what it was like playing football or going to recitals and always knowing that my mom and my dad were in that crowd
Yeah.
versus some of my friends who were envious of the fact, and they would tell me like, Miles, I'm jealous because your parents are here. My dad got to work today.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad's with his other family right now. My mom is busy doing this. Kids need that support, and it's hard. It's extremely hard when you have all those different families. You can't be there for every single one of them.
No.
And so, yeah, you can pay to make sure that they got the best clothes and that they're well taken care of. But what you can't pay for is your presence.
Okay.
And your presence means more to those kids than any dollar amount. They don't even understand the concept of what money is, and they don't care at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, a kid would rather have a broke father and broke mother, but them both be together and loving each other and there for that kid than to have rich parents who are never present.
Yeah.
And so I think that we have to have a much deeper conversation as men to realize that money will not solve your problems. It will not heal your trauma, and it's not going to save your family.
Yeah.
You have to be present. You have to heal yourself because, as you always say, whatever snake a man doesn't kill in his own garden, it will show up in the garden of his sons. That is
Absolutely.
exactly what's going to happen to his kids. They are going to have trauma. They are going to have deficiencies and issues that they face as they get older because of the fact that their fathers have so many different families with
Yeah.
so many different women and did not see the value in their mother or in the relationship that they had with their child to be in that home all the time.
Yeah. And on top of that, think about it like this. Those women that he decide to impregnate but not marry, they have to move on with their lives too.
Yes.
They want to go date.
Yep.
So now you have multiple men that are coming in and out of your life, right?
Yes.
That want to pick up and play daddy.
Yep.
Now you got to decide, are you my daddy? Who am I respecting? Who am I learning from? Who is pouring into me? And on top of that, there's something that happened in the counseling session I had not too long ago with a family, right? There's this father that owns multiple businesses. They private school, they got the boat, they got the big house, they travel all the time. And I'm working with his 16-year-old daughter. And I said, what is it that you appreciate the most about your dad? And one thing he was expecting her to say is the fact that he's paying for private school and paying for her to have all these nice things. And she said, I appreciate when my dad spends quality time with me and we do our ice cream dates. And he sat back and looked. He was like, well, I didn't think you cared about it. And she was like, no, those are the times I mean the most because I don't have to focus on my sisters or my brothers. It's just really me and you.
Yeah.
And I know that you're listening to me. I know that I have your attention. I know that I have your time. So kids, we need that time.
Yes.
We don't understand the money concept as a kid.
Yep.
Right? As long as we're happy and healthy, we don't know that we're poor.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't even know that you're rich.
Facts.
Right? So if I have my dad and my mom, if I have close proximity to them, if I'm able to talk to them, if they're able to pour into me and give me the things that I need, then that's what I consider a happy home.
Yeah.
But it becomes broken when you have the complete opposite.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny because this is the Little Things series, right?
Right.
And we're talking about grown adults, the little
Yeah.
things that keep those relationships together. But your kids, they care way more about the little things than the big things.
Yeah.
Those toys that you get them, for their birthdays, the big gestures that you do, all that is fun. But the memories that you remember the most are those subtle, small
Yeah.
moments with your parents growing up. Those are the things, and whether they're good or they're bad, that's what you remember the most. That's what kids build, that's the building blocks of who they become. And so it's the little things in every area of life. And so, fellas, as you're listening to this, I know a lot of men who have that same concept and will say, well, Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, they're straight up philosophy, and I've had this philosophy before, is as long as you can afford to take care of them,
Yeah.
right? That's the standard. But that isn't what fatherhood is about. It's not about the money. The money is only one aspect, and it's honestly not the most important aspect of what that child really needs to become, a healthy, functioning adult. They need your love, they need your time, they need your presence, they need your energy, and they need it consistently.
Yeah.
They need it 24/7. They don't need it one day out of the week and then you go to your next family. They need you every day, every night. They need to know that when I get home at a such time, dad's going to be at home. He just got off of work.
Yeah.
They need to know that. And picking up a phone and calling them, I understand you're doing your best based on the circumstance that you have put yourself in. And you got to do the best of what you have. But that's not ideal. And that's it's wrong at the end of the day for us to sit there and say that it's okay or responsible just because you can afford it
Yeah.
for you to continue bringing more people into this world and they're going to have another broken home.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you a real life experience. So I remember my high school graduation, right? I was sitting down and I see my family. I saw my mom, I saw my granny, my granddad, I saw my siblings. The only person I didn't see was my dad, right? So that's who I was looking for the most. So I walk across the stage, I look up, I throw the deuces up, I take my picture, and I still didn't see my dad. So when it was time to wrap things up, we're going back up and we're headed to take pictures. I saw my dad pop up, and I was like, "Did you see it?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was here. I was here." I said, "Okay, bet." But because I didn't see him, I didn't feel like he was there, and it
Yep.
made me feel a type of way, right? And then I go into college. So COVID hit. We didn't have a graduation, so I didn't have the opportunity to have that then. So then I go off and get my master's. So the biggest person, like out of everybody that I had traveling, I had 25 people coming in town. The main person I wanted to see was my pops.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was certain things he had to miss out on because of certain experiences that had happened. But I wanted to see my pops. And I had this thought to myself, if my pop shows up, I feel like it's going to be an emotional moment.
Yeah.
Man, when I tell you, so I walk across stage, I do my thing, I get the pictures taken. We walk outside at the end, and then I finally see my pops, and we embrace each other probably about 2 minutes. And nothing but just tears just flowed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I was just saying to him, man, thank you for showing up. And that right there, that truly, truly meant the most. So even as an adult, I was 28 years old when it happened.
Yeah.
I still felt that.
Yep.
So men need their fathers, daughters need their fathers, daughters need their mothers, men need their mothers. So it's like when you have both your parents present, showing you love, that's how you build a secure attachment.
Absolutely.
That's how you know when I need something, my parents are there for me. When I need something, my caregivers are there for me. And I can trust that I'm worthy of love, and I can trust that I'm worthy to give love simply because of the relationship that was built in my home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can go on this one all day, but
telling
we
you.
got to move on to our main topic because I still have more to say, but we're not going to belabor this anymore. So that was an amazing hot topic. Now we're going to move into the main topic of today, right? Which
Yep.
is the little things that cause relationships to fail. So this is going to be a great conversation to really break down the things in a relationship that are going to go down that can really ruin a good thing.
Right.
Right? If you're not cognizant of it, if you're not aware of what's going on. So Rex, I'm ready to hear your point number one and get this conversation started.
Yes, sir. So the little things that causes a relationship to fail is when you are operating from the same place that you were traumatized in a new relationship, right? So, for instance, you're operating from a place of lack, a place of an unhealed place, a place of a lack of trust, a place of a hardened heart. Right? If somebody did something to you, somebody disrespected you, somebody didn't show up for you, if somebody cheated on you, you go into your new relationship without healing, and you think that, okay, this person may do the same thing.
Yes.
I got to go in this relationship with my guard up. I got to go in this relationship with my walls up. I got to go in this relationship with a hardened heart simply because I can't allow for them to do me like the last person did me.
Yeah.
So now, except for me communicating my feelings and my needs and my desires, I'm going to project my feelings onto you.
Yes.
So if you're not texting me back fast enough, I'm already assuming you're texting somebody else. right? If you don't go to sleep on the phone with me, I'm assuming that you're staying up late just to go talk to somebody else, right? If you're wearing something that I feel like you shouldn't be wearing, I'm assuming that you're really just wanting attention from somebody else.
Yes.
You're coming into it from a broken place, right? And then you may have this mentality, you know what? Before they do it to me, I got to find a way to do it to them. You
Yes.
find you build self-sabotaging behaviors, and you learn how to break relationships versus build relationships because you're operating from a unhealed place.
Bro, that's so good. I have been there and I have done that.
Yeah.
I have absolutely been there and done that. Um, my previous relationship, the thing that to me was just the most traumatizing aspect of it was pettiness. I had never dealt with pettiness on that level before. Where it's like, wow, you will really go out of your way to spite me, and I'm not unintentionally trying to harm you.
Yeah.
But you're intentionally trying to prove your point and make me feel what you feel. And so you going out of your way to be petty about things and basically just make me suffer
Yeah.
when my intentions were pure. And I remember when I finally got out of that situation, I vowed to myself, I'm not putting up with nobody petty.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it because I feel like pettiness was the most vile thing you could do to a person because of the way that it harmed me. I was broken by it. Yet when I got into my relationship now, two things were happening. The first thing that was happening was I would assume that she was being petty when she wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? I'm assuming that her responses or that her actions or her reactions to things are just to make me feel a type of way. And it wasn't, right? It was her expressing it. It was her trying to explain something to me. And I'm thinking she's coming from a place of trying to get a one up on me.
Yeah.
Right? Now, also because I have my guard up because of this, I'm also projecting that onto her. So I'm getting petty.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to understand. I'm trying to get even.
Yeah.
Right? You gonna come and you do this to me. Now I'm gonna make you feel the way that I feel. That way you won't do it to me again.
Yeah.
Right? That's my thought process. Oh, you don't seem to respect people's feelings and say things that harm their emotions. Well, I'm gonna say some things that's gonna harm your emotions. So
Yeah.
you see what it feels like since you can't seem to get the picture. And so I'm going into the relationship being because of the brokenness that I experienced, and now I'm projecting that onto her. And she's like, well, what did I do to deserve this? I
Yeah.
wasn't even trying to harm you, and you saying these things to me, and you're trying to harm me.
100%.
And it wasn't until I had to take a step back and realize, like, dang, you became what you hated the most.
100%.
And that is exactly what happens when you don't heal before you get back into another relationship is all those things that happen to you that you haven't healed from, you have now incorporated them and you don't even know, but they are deeply rooted now into your trauma responses, into your guarding, into your boundaries. They're in everything. And it's going to cause you to bleed on somebody who never even cut you.
100%. And it reminds me, I was going through my journal this morning and I came across a journal entry that I wrote after my last relationship, right? And the journal entry was called Acceptance and Forgiveness, right? So I wrote a letter to that person and I forgave them for what they did and what they failed to do. And then the following section, I forgave myself for what I did and what I failed to do. And then at the end, I accepted what was, what is, and what would never be. Right. And I realized that, okay, Rex, right now you're not ready for a new relationship because there's some things that you need to heal still. There's still some things that you need to forgive yourself for. There's still some things that you need to work through so you can give your best self to somebody else. There's still some things that you need to work through so that you don't go into the relationship saying, I'm going to hold back on giving all of my love so I don't get hurt again.
Yes.
Because I knew for a fact if I wanted something healthy, I couldn't go into something new with the idea that I'm going to hold back.
Yes.
No, I would much rather give it my all because if it doesn't work out, then I can't say that I have any regrets.
Absolutely.
I can't say that I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have done that. So my fiance now is going to give my all. I'm giving 120% or nothing else simply because I want to show up my best self and I want this relationship to be the best that it can absolutely be. And if it doesn't work out, it's not because we didn't put in the work. It's not because we came from an unhealed place. It's truly because it was just divine alignment. So
Absolutely.
that's what I wanted to add. What you got for
But that's big though.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move to that point number 2, that's big what you said at the end. I'm gonna give this my all. And if it doesn't work out, right, I'm gonna just stop there. A lot of people think that if the relationship doesn't work out, then everything was a failure.
Yeah.
Right? Then why am I getting into the relationship anyway if it doesn't work out? And this is a key tell if you are at a place of self-worth, self-belief, and value, right? Before you get into a relationship is when you can sit there and say, like, if the relationship doesn't work out, I know things will be okay.
100%.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna go through my heartache. I'm gonna go through the pain. I'm gonna go through the turmoil. I'm gonna go through all that. I know it's gonna hurt, but that hurt is not something that I'm afraid of more than I'm afraid of not going for what I want.
100%.
More than I'm afraid of not pursuing who could be the love of my life and the person that I'm supposed to be with. When you are more afraid of the heartache than you are of the love that can come from it, then you're not ready to go into a
You're not.
relationship yet, because you're going to be operating out of fear when you're in the relationship. Then
Yeah.
if you do get into a relationship, you're going to always, like you said, be holding things back, trying to protect yourself from the fall that could come, trying to cushion the blow. But the thing is, if you fall in love, it's going to hurt if it doesn't work out,
100%.
period. And you have to be willing to accept that. And if you're not willing to accept that, then you're still operating out of your trauma. You're still operating out of that brokenness. And you got to get past that first before you can really have the best opportunity to make that relationship work.
Absolutely. The last quote I'm going to give is this: you don't overcome fear by overthinking, you overcome fear by doing.
Yes.
By doing and by being.
What is courage?
Right? The courage to do it. To do
Exactly.
It.
You can't be courageous if it's not scary.
Yeah.
So you got to be willing to take the leap in the face of fear.
Absolutely. What you got for your point?
Point number one for me is when you make decisions for the collective, but it was not a collective decision, right? And I see this often in relationships. I primarily see it with the fellas because we do take on this role of leading, right? But a lot of times we don't understand how to lead properly.
That's amazing.
So I want y'all to imagine that you're on a team, right? Y'all are all players on the same level at the end of the day. You got your quarterback, your receivers, everybody. And one person always thinks that they know what the best play call should be. And people are trying to tell them, like, yo, I'm telling you what I'm seeing on this side of the field. They are not covering. They're pressing us, and I'm way faster than him.
Yeah.
If you run the goal, if we throw this goal ball, I'm going to toast him. We going to score.
Yeah.
And the QB is steady sitting there, nah, bro, run the out route. Just run the outs.
Yeah.
We can get them to the flat. Meanwhile, the whole game, you getting picked off because they're jumping the route. They playing press on you, right? And the team is constantly trying to tell you and give you input so you can make a better decision. But you're stay thinking that because I'm the quarterback, what I say goes. I don't need anybody else's opinion. I don't need you guys to tell me what's going on. Well, then now your team's losing. Now your team is ineffective. And this happens a lot in relationships where one person goes and makes a big decision for the group, and you didn't even assess this. You didn't go talk to your partner. You didn't come have a conversation with them and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm about to go do. What do you think about it? And then you put them in a position to where this decision affects them and they never had a hand in it, right? And there's negative consequences from it. And see, what happens is when negative things happen in a relationship, but there's been a discussion between partners, you guys can buy in on that.
Yeah.
And so if it doesn't work out, you can say, hey, look, this was a decision that we made together. It didn't work out. We're going to fight together to get up out of here.
Yeah.
But when one person makes the decision and doesn't consult the other person and it doesn't work out, now you got the second guessing.
Yep.
Now you got the I told you so's, or now you got the you should have came and asked me.
Yep.
This wouldn't have been a problem had we had a discussion. And so you think that they're not trusting your judgment just in general. It's not that they don't trust your judgments, that they don't trust the fact that you didn't even consult with them. And so they were in the blind, and now these consequences are hitting and they could have been avoided.
Yep.
Communication is key. And so when you are walking into a relationship and you're doing everything on your own and you don't consult your partner and you're making collective decisions without consulting the collective, you're leading yourself down a path that can ruin that relationship as resentment and other emotions build up.
Yeah, you're operating from a me versus a we perspective.
Yes.
Right? Like we said last week, you're robbing your partner of the opportunity to influence your decision.
Yes.
You got to accept your partner's influence. So I want to ask you, have you experienced that within your relationship now?
Man, you ask these questions and sometimes I can pull them quick. Sometimes I can't. I'll put it this way. There have definitely been circumstances where I got a vision in my head and I'm overzealous. I'm ready to go put it in place, right? And I jumped the gun and I missed certain things.
Yeah.
And then there's been times where I'm really overzealous, but I throw it to my woman first and say, babe, what you think about this? And it be hurting sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dang, I feel like you just crapped on my whole vision.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm just pointing out some things that I think you should consider, right? And every single time I consider them and I follow that, it comes out 10 times better than what I even had envisioned for the highest possibilities for myself.
100%.
Right? And so I can't say off the top of my head that I can pull one. I'm sure there's been circumstances. I am absolutely sure. I bet you if I call her, she'll tell me
Yeah,
something.
100%.
But I will say that every single time I include her in the decision making, my decisions work out way better. The outcomes are far greater. And every single time that, not every single time, but oftentimes when I do it on my own, it doesn't show up the way I want it
Yeah.
to. And it has certain aspects of it where it's like I was really looking forward to a certain type of outcome and response, and it was underwhelming.
Absolutely. That God has blessed the woman with a specific amount of wisdom that she can give to her partner.
Yes.
Right? There's a now if you're with the wrong type of woman, a low
Yep.
functioning woman, a
Yep.
woman that, doesn't have any wisdom or doesn't isn't mature at all, then that's not the route I'm talking about. But when
Yes.
you have a woman that is wise, that is mature, that has experienced life, and that has never steered you in the wrong direction, you can't go wrong by taking her advice. You
Absolutely.
can't go wrong by saying, you know what, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Because like you said before, if I make a decision for us and I don't consult with you, then the pressure of it working out or
Yep.
not working out is a lot greater.
It's all on you now.
Yep.
Now you gotta hold that load.
You got a
I
barbecue
made
meal
this
too.
decision. It's like you ever see circumstances or stories, or maybe even know people gambling,
Yeah.
right? Y'all get up on some money as a collective, and he or she want to go gamble it.
Yeah.
I know, I'm hidden. And they telling you, your partner telling you, no, let's use this money and take care of these bills. Like, cool, you up, let's take care of these bills. And you want to go hit that table one more time.
Yeah.
And now one more time you hit that table, your partner been telling you, don't do it. You go hit that table and you lose that money.
Yeah.
They out.
Over with.
I'm done. Because every single time that we up, you make a selfish decision.
Yeah.
Oh, we got here together, but you gonna run off with it and make a decision on your own that impacts us.
Yeah.
That's not teamwork. That's not a partnership, and people are gonna grow tired of that.
100%.
Even when you see circumstances where women are in relationships, because we talk about the fellas a lot, even in circumstances where women are in relationships and they want to act single, right? Because they got single friends. And their partner is telling them, like, yo, I don't think this respects me. I don't think this
Yeah.
respects our relationship. And they're like, no, you can't tell me what I'm going to do. I can't tell you what I'm going to do. But the fact that you don't consider my feelings
Yeah.
when you go out and you present yourself to the world, that is something that's going to cause resentment, and eventually that person will leave. Goes on either side. When you don't include somebody, but it's a decision that impacts them, at the end of the day, you're gonna cause issues.
100%.
And something that you said about the right person, I just want to put this disclaimer out here. Let's explain something about what this show is. Okay, when we talk about ways to navigate relationships, ways to move in life, we are not talking about these toxic people that y'all be dealing with.
Yep. Facts.
We are not talking about that, or the types of people that we've dealt with in the past.
Yeah.
We are talking about when you find the right one, right? And you just have to battle through some things.
Yeah.
We are talking about when you have somebody who is willing to work and grow with you, somebody who is showing up, somebody who is doing the little things, somebody who is a good partner. And y'all just have areas that y'all need to get better in.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. You know when we talk about that toxic stuff because we'll tell you.
Yeah.
So please, every single time y'all get on here and y'all talk about, oh, but what about this situation? But what about these men or these women? We ain't talking about them.
Right.
Maybe you should figure out, go back and watch that Signs series and learn how to develop yourself to where you can weed those people out. Then our message, you'll understand who it's meant for.
Yeah.
Because not every message is meant for every single audience. The right thing and the right behavior will never be good enough for the wrong person.
Bro, you just read my mind. I literally was just about to say that. And that's one thing I want to let everybody know. Like when people get in our comments and they say, well, my man cheat. If you do this, he's still going to cheat. Or I do all this. I'm very intentional. My man don't do nothing for me. Listen, if your person that you are with has shown you on a consistent basis that they are not intentional, they're not creative, that they don't show enough love, or they don't give you enough nurturing, or they don't initiate enough. If they have shown you this on a consistent basis, why are you there? Why do you continue to stay? Especially if you're not married. Now, mind you, if you're married, I really want to push the fact that I need you just leaning on the Bible, leaning on God, leaning on mentorship, lean into therapy to really work through those things. But if you are in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, if you are in a talking stage, and a person has shown you that consistently they are not who you need in your life, you can never make them become that person. You can never sex them into becoming that person. You can never finance them into becoming that person. You can never encourage them or influence them to become that person, no matter how good you look, no matter how good you sound, no matter how much you have. If they have shown you that they can't show it for you, if they have shown you they don't have the capacity, They don't have the knowledge or the wisdom. Please do yourself and your future a favor and walking away from that bad boy so you can find your husband and you can find your wife like God wants you to.
It's all a reflection of your self-worth. All of this.
Yeah.
Because the things that you tolerate are a reflection of you
Yep.
at the end of the day. And so I'm not gonna go any deeper into that because Rex, you just hit it out the park with what you just said. But the problem is you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you're sticking around, start looking at yourself because they not changing.
Yeah.
They've shown you who they are. The fact that you won't leave shows that there are some things in you for some part of your life. I don't know where you got them from, why you stick around, but it can cause your demise if you're not careful.
Exactly. Quote that says, "The only thing that remains constant in this world is change. Those who adapt persevere, and those who don't merely fade away."
Yes.
If you are the main thing that's in your relationships, then the common denominator is you. If nothing is changing, nothing is changing.
Yes.
So I'm going to go into point number 2,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So point number 2, the little things that cause relationships to fail is when you withhold your truth and allow resentment to build up, right? So resentment builds up and your person no longer becomes your person anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You begin thinking that you deserve better or you start lying to avoid conflict. And let's pause right there, right? How can I stay committed and how can I trust that I'm going to be committed if every single time we get into conflict, I'm thinking about somebody that can do it better. I'm thinking that I deserve better. And I'm thinking about this ain't good for me no more.
Yeah.
We will never be able to get through anything if that's my mentality, right?
Yep.
And also, if I'm trying to avoid conflict so much that I'm gonna lie to you, you ask me how I'm feeling, or if you ask me if I feel loved or if I feel disrespected, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I feel loved, I feel disrespected, but the reality of it is I don't. The reality is I have this resentment. I don't feel loved by you. I don't feel respected by you. I don't feel like you accept my influence. I don't feel like you're cognizant of how you address or how you present yourself to the world when you're around me. I don't like the way you speak with my family. I don't like the way you speak about me to your friends and the fact that your friends know too much about my relationship.
Yep.
All this resentment continues to build. So now I'm in a relationship with a person that I don't even like anymore. And once your partner doesn't even like you, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I experienced that in my last relationship, and we got to an argument. I looked at her, I said, I don't like you. And I realized, like, I knew our relationship was over.
Yeah.
Because if God had told a man or required a man, love your wife like Christ loved the church, which means he gave his life for her, which means you're supposed to be sacrificial, which means you're supposed to do things and show up even when you don't feel like it, right? And I don't even like the person that I'm with. How the hell am I going to show up for you how I need to?
Yeah.
How am I going to be sacrificial? Why would I want to be sacrificial?
Yep.
There's certain things I may let slide on the rug because I don't even like you for real.
Yeah.
So that right there for me is something that causes relationships to fail, is when you allow resentment to build up and you start lying to avoid conflict and you start withholding the truth and you feel this wall building up and you are okay with that wall building up versus trying to figure out how to knock it down.
Man, I have seen this in men. I have seen this in men where they take a passive aggressive approach to everything.
Yeah.
Their feelings, whenever something harms them, when they need to address it with a woman, they don't voice it because of whatever fears they have, whether that's fear of abandonment, fear of, not being heard and understood and having to go back into that shell of, dang, I opened myself up and just to get shut down, right? That fear of rejection. And I've seen that. And what happens is when you're with a woman that cares, she's fighting and pulling for every little piece of you to tell her what's going on. And she knows something ain't right, but every single time she bring it up, oh, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. And it's not that deep. And what happens is at a certain point, she's going to get to a point to where either she's going to do one of two things. She's going to say, all right, cool, everything is okay. And so your problems will never get addressed. And it's going to be whatever it is. And y'all just going to have a relationship that is not healthy. And that's just going to become the norm. Or two is going to get to a point to where she starts to act out to get any form of reaction out of you.
Yep.
She will start to do things that disrespect you. She will start to do things that harm your feelings, that intention that she knows you can't avoid. You're going to have to respond to this. She's going to push them buttons in whatever way she can in order to get an emotional response out of you, since you don't express what's really going on. Because the way she sees it is any form of expression and emotion is better than no form of expression and emotion.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that's not right. But these are the consequences when you avoid conflict to try and keep peace. That's not going to work. And I think about times early on in our relationship with me and my woman where she would be like, Ask me, like, we'll have a conversation about something. And I'm going in. Now, granted, I have a much better way of communicating now and
Right.
expressing that. But one thing I knew for a fact I could not do was not tell her the truth about how I felt.
100%.
I knew that because at the end of the day, if I sit here and I tell you a lie about you being this perfect partner
Yeah.
and that everything you do is okay, it's not that big of a deal, this is that and that. If I do that, I know at a certain point that ain't gonna be the truth for me that I can hide no more.
Facts.
And I'm gonna be gone.
Facts.
And if I really want this to work, I'd rather have this tough conversation and hurt your feelings about what I see and what I feel right now than to wait and have it 5, 10 years down the road and we waste our time.
100%.
And sometimes you got to make your partner cry. And I don't mean that like make them, like, oh, I'm gonna bring some tears out of your day. But sometimes you got to have a conversation that's going to hurt emotionally when that person realizes the way they hurt you,
Yeah.
right? When you tell them, like, yo, when you did this, it reminded me of this person who harmed me. And now they might project, they might sit there. So you think I'm as bad as that person? No, I don't. I don't think you're as bad as that person. Because if I thought you were as bad as that person, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Right.
I wouldn't be here trying to fight for this. I'm just letting you know that the way that this made me feel, it brought up these memories.
Yep.
It triggered this part of me. It made me want to respond this way. And I don't want to be that person. And I know that that's not who you are either.
Right.
So let's work together and figure out how we can get past this so that we can have a much healthier expression of our emotions in situations that honors both of us.
Absolutely. And one last thing I'll add to that is this. When you create a habit of avoiding conflict, right? And you lie to your partner and let your partner know that everything is good, the minute that they have a problem with you, then that's the time that you spill everything that
Yes.
you had with them. And they're confused, like, wait a minute.
Where this come from?
Right. I had an issue with you. I didn't know you had all these issues with me.
Yep.
But because you've been holding it in, you've been robbing yourself of, been depriving yourself of the things that you need, that emotional expression, the things that you need from your partner, that love, that care, that nurturing. And now you have 10,000 problems that you're going to give back to them the minute they give you one problem. That creates even more conflict.
Yep.
So now it's this fight. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because you did this.
Yep.
It's like, but wait, this ain't about me. This is about you right
Exactly.
now. So, man, I don't want to get too deep into that. I want you to go into your next point, B-Dub.
I got you, man. Point number 2, man, is when you say you love them and you forgive them, but when you're not willing to let it go. This will kill relationships. I have seen it so much. You can't, on the one hand, be gracious and then on the other hand, hold a grudge.
Right.
Those two don't go together. You have to pick which person you're going to be. In this circumstance, am I holding a grudge? Am I really going to be able to let this go? Or am I in a space where, you know what, this infraction or whatever was done to me, I'm willing to forgive you for. I'm willing to see you as more than your lowest moment. I am willing to give you another chance to do this the right way. People oftentimes, what happens is they'll say they forgive somebody, kind of going back to your point number 2, to keep the peace.
Yeah.
But they know deep down in their heart, I ain't forgave you for none of it.
Yep.
I still feel a type of way. I'm still not okay with this, and I never will be.
Yep.
I still can't look at you the same anymore because of what you said or did. And so I need people to be honest with their partners about circumstances that you can move forward from and circumstances that you can't.
Yep.
Because what happens is you then start holding that person hostage. And then they're thinking that they have been given the opportunity to move forward, to show up as a better person, and they're doing the right things. And the second that any little thing comes up, you're always throwing this past transgression back in their face.
Yep.
They can't move forward. They're held hostage to who they used to be, and they're not even that person anymore. And then that's going to create resentment. That's going to create hatred. That's going to create all types of emotions in them towards you. Now you're going to lose that person that you just had that was actually acting right.
Yep.
Because they're like, well, if you're going to hold me to that standard anyway, why am I going out my way to change?
100%.
Why am I
yeah.
going out my way to be this type of person that does these things to show up for you, and you can't let it go what happened previously?
Yep.
So I'm going to say it again. You can't be graceful and also hold a grudge. You have to choose.
You got to choose. You actually have to choose. This is a quote that says, when you choose not to forgive, the unforgiveness now has control.
Yeah.
It now has control.
Yeah.
You can't look at your partner the same if you don't forgive them. Now, mind you, sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to forgive. Sometimes you don't even need to say that you forgive them. Say, I'm willing to work through this.
Exactly.
It may take me some time.
Yep.
but it's something that I'm willing to do.
Yep.
And then another thing about forgiveness is it's something that's given every single day. Because you may be trying to forgive your partner for something, but you're triggered by it on a consistent basis. So every single time you're presented with that issue, you have to choose to forgive. But
Yes.
if you don't choose to forgive, your actions are going to show it.
Yep.
Every way you showed up for your partner when you felt the most love is you're going to, all that's going to go away.
Yeah.
The minute you choose not to forgive them.
Yep.
So you are absolutely right. Now, you don't always like to flip it back on you. What does that look like in your world when it comes to forgiveness in your relationship and you holding on to it? Because I know we never forget things.
Yeah.
But how do you move past it?
Man, the key is, and this happens to everybody. And so I want people to take a mindset. This all goes back to something we already said about self-worth and value and
Yep.
going into a relationship in the first place. If I'm operating out of trauma, that's only going to make forgiveness even harder.
100%.
Because then you're about to catch it for things that happened even before you.
Yep.
I'm tallying the marks. This person did it 10 times. You done it once. I'll be damned if I get to 10 with you. Right? So first, it starts before you even get to the relationship. If you carrying all these grudges and transgressions into the relationship, then that person is already behind on the count.
Yep.
They up at the plate with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't even get a full chance. And so when they make mistakes, which people are going to make in a relationship, you already ready to strike them out. I can't forgive you for this. It's like, dang, was it really that serious that I did? And it's like, not necessarily, but to them it was because they've dealt with it before. So the first thing is you got to let go of the past that happened before that person even got there. If you haven't healed from that, they're going to catch hell.
Yep.
The second thing that's going to happen is when you're in those moments and you say to yourself, I'm going to forgive you for this. It is a conscious, very deep conversation you need to have with yourself. And it's okay, like you said, in that moment when they ask you, do you forgive me? To say, I don't know it. I don't know yet. I need some time.
Yep.
Let me think about it. I know I love you. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm going to do and talk to myself and figure out if I can see past this, but I don't know. Give me some time. Don't feel forced and eager to forgive because you think you just have to.
Yeah.
Right? The third thing that you have to do is then once you choose to forgive, and there's going to be moments, you're going to have flashbacks to the moments. You're going to think about this circumstance. Every time you're around this person or a similar circumstance, it's going to pop in your head. You have to remind yourself who that person is to you and how much you love them and everything that they do that's good.
Yep.
That's the only way. Because if you don't reinforce all the positive things and remind yourself, like, I chose to give this person another chance and they aren't doing anything right now, it's just reminding me certain things are triggering. I'm not going to let what's triggering me overpower all the things that are good about you that I love and that I know that you're trying in the ways that you've shown up for me.
That's good.
You got to remind yourself of the good, because if you let that bad pile up and you just let it continue to build, it's almost like resentment to where that wall gets so high and you can't see your partner no more. You only see the bad things that they've done.
Yeah.
So forgiveness is a real thing. And if you're the person that needs to be forgiven or has done the transgression, understand that you're not deserving of it.
Yeah.
It's a choice. People have a choice to forgive you. You've done the wrong. It is up to them to choose. All you can do is show up as your best self and show that you've changed. Show that you won't do that particular transgression again. And then you have to let whatever happens after that take its course.
That's amazing. I think you said that well, Pop.
Appreciate that, Pop.
Yes, sir.
All right. Point number 3. What you got, Rex?
Man, point number 3, the little things that makes relationships fail is when you frequent places that you went to or did when you were single without your partner, right? This could mean a lot of different things. This could mean having the same kind of conversations you had when you were single, going to the same place you were when you were single, doing things as a me and not as a we, right? Perfect example. 2 weeks ago, one of my homeboys I went to college with, Tennessee State, he hit me up and said, yo, Rex, I got a birthday celebration tomorrow night, guys' night.
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. Where are you talking? He was like, okay, it's going to be at this hookah lounge downtown. I said, okay, bet. Hit my lady up, let her know about it. She said, it seems like a cool plan. I said, all right, but I'm going to go check it out. So I pull up to the spot. It's 11 o'clock. I go in, I see him. It's like I said, it started out being a group of 4, ended up being like a group of 10, 12. But the club was smooth,
Yeah.
right? I had a beer, got me some wings, right? And then a round of shots came around. I took me a shot, and then the club started getting packed, right? Then, the ladies start coming over to the section. Thought to myself in that moment, I got about 10, 15 more minutes.
Yep. Time to get up out of here.
Look, I got about 10, 15 more minutes.
Yep.
only because is it because I lack self-control? No.
No.
Is it because I lack discipline? No. It's because I can't put myself in an environment, in a situation that will make me vulnerable.
Yes.
That'll make me slip up.
Yep.
Now, of course, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. I saw my guy. I met some new
Mm-hmm.
guys. I said, "What's up?"
Yep.
Right. I hit my lady up. I was like, "Hey, you up? I'm actually about to head home. Can I call you?" She was like, "Why'd you leave so early?" I was just like, "It was just getting to that time."
Yep.
It's getting to that time. And this is all about having a sense of self-awareness.
Yes.
If I do the things, if I'm staying into the club until 2 a.m. until it closes, and I'm continuing to take these rounds of shots, and I'm continuing to engage in these conversations, where's that going to lead me?
Exactly.
Where's that going to lead me, right? So then, same way, when you are in a relationship and you're trying to head towards marriage, and I'm having the same conversations that I used to have with my single friends. So now I'm giving my single friends my relationship problems, and they're responding to me from a single perspective. How can you give me more information or insight of how to make my relationship better when you have yet to find something that worked for you?
Absolutely.
Right now, mind you, I will say you will have single friends that can pour into you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it becomes a certain limit to where they can't, right? If you want to talk to your single friends about marriage, that may be tough because they've never been able to experience it.
Yep.
Same way when it comes to family. So if I am frequenting certain places without my partner, if I'm engaging in the same conversations, if I'm around the same type of people, if I'm in the same type of environments that I was when I was single, then I am not producing anything that's going to produce fruit,
Yes.
right? And then you're going to find yourself asking, why are you always in the club?
Yep.
Why ain't you never with your partner?
Yep.
Why ain't your girl ever around?
Mm-hmm.
Why ain't your girl ever being posted on your page?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you moving like you single?
Oh yeah. Because you are. You moving like you single.
100%.
Your environments are you.
100%.
I think about Austin.
Yeah.
Remember we went out.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell y'all a story real quick. We went out both nights. We went to DreamCon. We were in Austin, went out to 6th Street. First night, we did not have any fun. We did not have any fun, right? Because we're going in all these bars, like you can tell the environment there, right? We're trying to find a bar where it's interactive. We're trying to find a bar where we can have fun with each other and stuff. We going into the bars is nothing but y'all already know what type of music is being played.
Yeah.
Everybody in there acting single. The only way you having fun in that bar is if you single,
Yeah.
you cheating on your girl,
Yeah.
or you popping bottles.
Yeah.
3 things that we don't got on the menu. You know what I'm saying? That is not on our
Facts.
palate. All right. We're going in there trying to enjoy our time as brothers, right? Didn't have any fun. We said, you know what? We done went to about 340 bars. Let's just head
Yeah,
back.
it's about time
It's
to
an
slide.
L. We literally said, you gotta know when the night's an L. That next night we went out. We found us a bar that had games.
Yeah.
Me and Rex had the time of our life in there competing. We playing Mario Kart. We playing the skee ball game. We
Yeah.
playing the punching bag machine. We competing against each other. And when I tell you, that was a super fun night because as you mature, as you want better for yourself, as your life changes, the environments and the things you do for fun have to change as well.
Yeah.
And if you don't modify those things, you're going to find yourself being stuck in places that don't serve you any longer.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it's not about self-control. And I remember explaining this to my girl. She's like, I just don't get it. Like you always say this when you go out in certain environments. You just say, you don't enjoy it there. And it's like, is it a concern about your self-control? And it's like, it's not that at all. It's more so about the fact that I've matured out of a place. I don't want to, even be in an environment that could tempt me. If I'm trying to be disciplined, why put yourself in temptations environments? That's just, bottom line, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But 2, I want a different type of fun. I want fun that serves my purpose, that feeds my soul. I don't want the fun that when I wake up in the morning, I got to sit there and spend the whole day regretting it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I got to recover from this hangover, or I did something I wasn't supposed to do and I feel guilty about.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I love the feeling of walking through life knowing that there's no pressure on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm living a righteous life.
Yeah.
That feels good, man. It's freeing. I want to be free.
You want to be free.
So-
Exactly. And one thing I'm going to add is this. If you find yourself trying to frequent clubs, you find yourself trying to frequent things that single people do. I was having a conversation with one of my guys, Brian, this morning, and I said, there's something in that bottle, at the end of that bottle, that makes you say F it.
F it.
Right? So no matter how faithful you want to be, no matter how spontaneous you want to be, no matter how committed in a relationship you want to be, if you put yourself in an environment around people and all you guys are doing are taking shots and you're taking shots and you step outside of your capacity, you step outside of your window of being able to be conscious about your decisions, you're going to get to that level where you say F it. So the guy that's in the corner, or the girl that's in the corner that's been looking at, you're going to finally
You gonna
allow for them.
step.
Yeah, you're gonna allow for yourself to give them attention, or you're gonna allow them to give you some attention.
Yep.
That simple conversation that may not be so simple, it's going to get deeper, right? You're going to act in certain ways you're not going to act. You're going to disrespect your partner. You're going to disrespect yourself, and it's just not going to end good. So don't try it.
Yep.
Don't test it. You find yourself in situations that only single people do. Allow your single friends to have single people stuff.
Yep.
But when you're in a healthy and committed relationship, you need to be around healthy and committed friends. You need to be around people that model good marriages. You need to be around people that are committed to their partners, and you need to do things that healthy and faithful people do. Does that
Yes.
mean you can't have fun? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Me and him had fun when we went out. I
Yep.
still had fun when I went out with my guys, but I just knew I had a time limit.
Yep.
I just knew I couldn't be there past 1 a.m. because at the end of the day, ain't nothing open for me.
Yep.
Right? My lady at home.
My time is up.
It's time for me to head
Yep.
to the crib too.
Yep.
Right? I feel so much better being able to leave the club on a sober mind, being able to call my lady on the way home and say, "Hey, I made it home. I enjoyed it. I definitely met a few new people. Something I would do again, yes, but I'd much rather you be there if I'm going to stay later."
Yep. That's absolutely it, bro. And I say this, bro. Don't give yourself an excuse. Don't give yourself out to play the game, but not take it all the way there.
Yep.
Right? Because a lot of times what happens is you'll go out and then you'll say, "Well, I'm just gonna talk to the girl. I'm just gonna flirt with her, but I ain't
Yeah.
gonna give her my phone number." Or I'm gonna talk to her. I give it an IG, but I ain't gonna never hit her up. All those things. The eyes are the windows to the soul, right? And so the things that you entertain, the things that you frequent, the little areas that you let yourself slide by in, is going to show up. You still gonna have guilt. I don't care how much you try to play yourself
Yep.
the next day and say, "Well, I didn't do this." You know that if your girl found out about it, it
gonna be a
would be
problem.
hell to pay.
Yeah.
Right? So why do it? You know, and I always say this, bro, fellas, flip them roles. How would you feel if she was talking to a dude when she was out at night
I
the way
hate it.
you was talking to?
I hate it.
You about to throw up in your couldn't even see yourself. You wouldn't even know how to feel.
Yeah.
So let's not even act like we getting by, right? Just because you allow yourself to get by, you're not getting away with it, and your soul's gonna have to the repercussions of that one day.
Absolutely. All right, what you got for your last point, brother?
My last point, man. Thinking marriage is the finish line when really it's just a milestone.
Talk
This is
about
something that happens in so many relationships because we idolize marriage, the concept of marriage, so much. We idolize the photos, we idolize the proposal, we idolize the ceremony, we idolize the honeymoon. We idolize everything about getting to the marriage, getting to I do. But see, nobody ever talks about how to get through
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Everything that comes after that. And so you get to a point in relationships where if you're only focusing on things as a finish line rather than a milestone, once you get there, it's like, well, what do I have to do now?
Yep.
And I say this in a couple of ways because one of the things that people stop doing is they stop courting their partner,
Yep.
right? They stop showing up as their best self. When you were dating them, when you got your hair, you went to make sure you got your hair cut. Y'all about to go on a date. I got to get fresh tonight. I got to make sure I look good. I'm putting on my favorite scent, put on my best clothes. You're doing all these things, right? That's for the fellas. For the ladies, y'all know y'all getting your hair done, waxes, everything. Y'all getting yourselves together, up there getting your eyebrows done. Now y'all married.
Yep.
Y'all don't even dress up no more. Y'all come home every single day looking raggedy.
Yep.
Nobody shows up for each other as their best self anymore. And when one person or both people do that, it can cause them to lose the luster. It can cause them to lose the fire in that relationship. And while the fire isn't what keeps the relationship together, there has to be a whole lot of other things there, right? And I'm not telling you that you can't be a person that can relax around your partner. You don't have to put on makeup every single day and get a haircut every single day, fellas, in order for your partner to love you.
Yep.
But the fact that your partner hasn't seen you at your best in 5 years, that says something.
Says a whole lot.
That says something. You complacent. You're comfortable with where y'all are at to the point to where you don't feel like you have to try no more.
Yep.
Right? When's the last time you surprised this person? Or do you do everything off a routine? Right? There is a space and a time for you to show up as a little bit more than what you do on a daily basis.
Yep.
Your daily basis needs to be a high standard.
100%.
But there's some days for you to go above and beyond. And so when you look at the marriage as the finish line, you can't do that.
You can't. And to speak their language, just imagine, same way for the fraternity, right?
Mm-hmm.
After the pledging process is
Mm-hmm.
over, the older brothers say, "This is where the work
The real
starts."
work starts now.
No matter what you just went through,
Yeah.
those were the prerequisites.
Yep.
This is where the work starts, and that's exactly what you're saying for the marriage. It's the work starts when you finally hit your first argument.
Yes.
The work starts when something traumatic happens in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The work starts when you look at your partner and you don't have the same love that you used to have for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the work starts.
Exactly.
Are you willing to do what's necessary to push past these feelings of guilt, this push past the unforgiveness, to push past the level of faithfulness? Are you willing to push past the hurt?
Yes.
That's where the work starts.
Yes.
So that's good,
And the
brother.
work never stops starting.
No.
Every new circumstance reveals a new avenue that you guys have to navigate down.
Yep.
And that can be a tiring thing. Like, dang, I feel like we done been in this 10, 15 years. I feel like this shouldn't be a problem no more.
Yep.
There's always going to be things that happen. There's always going to be new things that test everything that you've built up. Your communication's strong, wait till you have a kid.
Yep.
You're going to see what communication really is. You think y'all work as a team? Wait till somebody gets sick. You're going to see what being a team player really is. So, man,
That's good.
I love this, man. This is a great conversation. Like we said, the little things are going to make the difference. That's the whole point of this series. And the things that we're talking about today are the little things that will cause your relationships to fail. So be cognizant of them, man.
Absolutely.
Let's talk letter of the day, people. Let's talk letter of the day. So, Rex, I'm going to ask you this question. What are the main issues you see people run into when they're trying to leave a toxic relationship, man? What are some things that you constantly see them struggle with?
Not knowing who they are. So their identity is in the relationship. They poured so much into the relationship, or they became so much in their relationship that was connected to their partner
Yeah.
that they no longer know who they are.
Yeah.
So they would much rather not leave their relationship because they'll have to redefine who that person is, relearn themselves again. They'll have to start from scratch all over again.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Right? That's one thing. Another thing could be is if you didn't add much value to that relationship and your partner added all the value, you don't want to lose the value. You don't want to lose the rewards that came from the relationship. You don't want to lose whether you was with somebody that was a provider, you was with somebody that was pouring into you, whether you was with somebody that was giving you a specific lifestyle, and you don't want to lose those luxuries. So you will stay in something like that. And then I would say one of the last reasons, and it's most likely is trauma related. If you grew up feeling abandoned, feeling neglected, feeling like you're unworthy of certain things happening to you, you would much rather, although this person isn't treating you well or you don't feel like you should be in this relationship, because of your fear of abandonment, because your fear of neglect, because your fear of being alone is so strong, you don't want to leave that relationship. You don't know how to leave the relationship. So that's what I think.
Good. That's good, man. I love all those things. That's powerful because it does come down to those things, right? Whether it's the holes that you're dealing with inside yourself, your traumas, or feeling like, man, this person is of too much value to me. I can't let them go. All that gets in the way of you being able to move forward and move past.
100%.
I say for me, and I see this all the time because people always come to me about something going on in their relationship. I'm done. I want to leave, but I don't know what to do. And I give them the same advice. I give them the same advice every single time. If you're really done, I need you to do a few things. And I tell them, I say, block that phone number. Unfollow them on every single social media platform. Don't block them on those too. Don't give them no room to contact you. Stop going around places and people that remind you of them that they're going to be around. Remove yourself completely. People can never seem to do it.
Uh-oh.
I turn around, people always come back and say, oh, yeah, such happened. And I ask, wait. How did they even get in touch? How did y'all get in contact? Oh, well, I unfollowed him, but I didn't block his number like you said to do. And he texted me one night or she texted me one night, and that's how we started back up. Okay, then. So I say all that to sum it up like this. A lot of times people want to say they're leaving and say they're done when they know they really ain't.
Yeah.
They know they're not done. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why you know you're not done. You're not done if you can't block that number. You're not done if you still checking in on them on the gram, going to them on spam accounts and stuff, trying to see what they got going on in their life. You're not done if you still go to that same bar, that same club, that same event, that same space that you know they always frequent on a Friday night. You're not done if you always allow your friends to talk about them and you don't cut them off and say, hey, I don't need to hear none of this. You're not done if you running around people that they close to just so you can have the proximity of hopefully seeing them. You're not done.
Talk that talk.
You're not done. You still in there.
Yeah.
Y'all might as well still be together with the way that you're moving because you're consumed by them. You're allowing them to hold space in your mind and your heart that if you were done, you would say they have to be eliminated from all these areas. Stop lying to yourself because all you're doing is running your heart through the ringer.
Yeah.
All you're doing is giving this person more control and more power. All you're doing is really delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
And when it gets here, it's going to hurt even worse and it's going to take even longer to get through because you could have let it go a year or two ago when this happened, when you said
Facts.
you was done the first time.
Facts.
But since you done kept playing this game, now it's going to take you even longer. If you're done, then be done.
Be done. Okay.
So
That's good.
that's what I got, man. That's what we got for today. This is an amazing episode. The little things that cause relationships to fail. Rex, let the people know where they can find you.
Man, absolutely. As you know, you support Rex Howard Jr., the relationship and sex therapist, person development coach. You can find me on Instagram at I am Rex Howard Jr. on all platforms. And if you want help with your relationship, you want to help navigate through trauma, you want to help with any kind of sexual dysfunction or any sexual issues that you may be having, you want to help with just becoming more emotionally intelligent, all you got to do is go to resolvecc.com and book an appointment with me. If you want to find us on all platforms, it's Let's Talk Like Men podcast on all platforms, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, and even on Facebook. And most importantly, I recently just started a men's group for men. It's a morning mastery meetup, 20 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, starting at 7 a.m. and it lasts till 7:20 a.m.
Central Time.
Central Time, yeah. So for morning motivation, for encouragement, for accountability, and a sense of community, all you gotta do is go to a link in any one of our bios and type the link that says Morning Mastery Meetup, and you can join.
Absolutely. I am Miles the Millennial, impact speaker, best-selling author, and life coach. If you are looking for an impact speaker for your youth, for your staff, for your organizations, come talk to me. I'm very good at helping you with your leadership in your organization and with your empowerment in your organization. Life coaching, if you're going through situations in life and you need help, I also offer those services on Fellow. You can find me there. And then like Rex said, man, join the Morning Mastery Meetup. We got a lot of things we're going to be bringing to you guys over the next few weeks. But that is us. We're Let's Talk Like Men, and we're out.
Yes, sir.